Hello friends, welcome to the higher module on institutional management for entrepreneurship. We are into the last unit, unit number 8 on management of business enterprises, and this is the last video in this whole module, and this is on the emerging concepts in management, and we shall be discussing regarding the blue ocean strategy. The contents of my presentation, there is a brief introduction to the blue ocean strategy as one of the latest concepts in the field of management. Then we have a case study on the blue ocean strategy, then the application of blue ocean strategy for entrepreneurship development. In fact, there is a very famous book, the name is Blue Ocean Strategy. You can see this book's cover on your screen. This book is written by two authors, one is W. Chan Kim, a South Korean professor, and a German lady professor, Renée Mauborgne. Both of them they are working in INSEAD in Paris, France, as one of the top management institutes, and they have written this very wonderful book known as the Blue Ocean Strategy. This book was written in 2005 and it was published by the Harvard Printing Press. And then later on they wrote another book, Blue Ocean Shift, which came very recently 2017 only. Now, let me first explain what is this blue ocean strategy in a layman's language. You see, if you see the market or if you see the corporate sector, there is a very intense competition. Now, suppose you want to let us say manufacture something, maybe a television or a ceiling fan or a computer, anything basically. So, there is a lot of competition in the market. There are many companies making the same thing, and in case you want to enter into the same market with the same product, so there is an intense competition, and there is a cutthroat competition. The companies are trying to cut the throat of one another and trying to grab their share. So, there is a bloody red ocean. Now, this strategy says that you do not enter into that red ocean, you do something absolutely new, something innovative in which there is no competition, and there is a vast blue ocean in front of you where you can easily swim. So, that is the crux of this blue ocean strategy. I will take up two case studies in this video. This first case study is not from the book. The second case study I have taken from the book. This case study is the case study of this nano car, the Tata nano car, and you can see Ratan Tata with this nano car. In fact, I think how this idea came into his mind to make this car. You see, once he was traveling in Bombay, and he was in his car, and he saw that there was a small family of 4 persons, husband, wife and 2 children. They were riding on a scooter. So, one child was standing in front of the father who was driving the vehicle, and the second child was sitting in between both the parents, and he was like a sandwich this thing. So, they were riding with a lot of difficulty because scooter has a very small space, and 4 people they were riding on the scooter. And then the rains came, Mumbai is known for the rains. So, their condition became very pathetic. So, then Ratan Tata thought that this small family who are like a middle class or a lower middle class family, they also want to buy a car, because if they have a car they can be saved from the rains, from the sun, they can sit comfortably and then they can enjoy the ride. But since cars are very expensive, they cannot afford to buy a car. So, let me make a car which is costing only rupees 1 lakh. It will be known as people's car, because when they are riding on a scooter or on a two-wheeler, it is costing some say 50-60,000 rupees, and they can take a little loan, or maybe they can buy something from their friends or from the family members, and then they can afford to buy a rupees 1 lakh car. So, that is how he made this Tata nano car. So, when the Tata nano car came into the market, and in case you want to buy a car which is costing only rupees 1 lakh, there is no other car except nano car. So, where is the competition? There is no competition. So, this was a perfect blue ocean strategy. And secondly, what he did was, the people who were the non-customers, the people who were not driving the cars, they were into the two-wheelers, this thing, because the cars were very expensive. So, the non-customers were made as the customers of the car segment. So, that was like a second the thing, bringing those people who were just driving the two wheelers and putting them into the car the thing segment category. So, this was like a blue ocean strategy. So, if I talk about this book, the findings of research on blue ocean strategy, it is a study of more than 30 industries ranging from hotels, cinemas, retail, airlines, energy, computers, broadcasting, construction, automobile and steel. So, the authors have taken a very wide variety of industries and the companies from those industries to do the research. So, more than 150 strategic moves made by the different companies throughout the globe during the past 120 years, that is from 1880 to 2000 were studied. So, what were the findings? The creation and the capturing of the blue oceans were achieved by the small and large companies, by young and old managers, by companies in the attractive and unattractive industries, by new entrants and established incumbents, by private and public companies, by companies in the low and high tech industries and by companies in the diverse national origins. So, that means in any part of the world, any part of the globe and different type of people from different industries. So, everybody was making those blue ocean moves, not realizing that this is known as a blue ocean move. So, what are the three underlying principles of this strategy? The first is do not compete in the existing market space. It talks of not competing, it talks of doing something innovative, doing something new where there is no competition. So, stop benchmarking, instead uncontested market space should be created. The second is do not beat the competition, right. Do not try to beat the competition by making some quality products or bringing the price down, all these things. Instead, the competition should be made irrelevant and do not exploit the existing demand. Instead, you should create and capture the new demand, because the demand which is not there, that is much more in number. Like I was talking about this Tata Nano car. So, the people who are not driving the cars, they are much more in number. So, try to make them as your customers. So, bring the non-customers into the customers fold. This is the conceptual distinction between the red ocean and the blue ocean. The red ocean strategy says compete in the existing market space. It says do the same thing, make the same product and compete. The blue ocean strategy says no, create uncontested market space. Red ocean says beat the competition. Blue ocean says make the competition irrelevant. The red ocean strategy says focus on the existing customers, whereas the blue ocean says focus on the non-customers and make them as your customers. The red ocean says exploit the existing demand, the blue ocean says create and capture the new demand. So, create a demand and then capture that demand. Now, let me take up another case study, and this case study is from the same book. It is a case study of a circus company. The name is Cirque du Soleil. It is one of the Canada's largest cultural exports. It was created in 1984 by a group of street performers. Right now, it has been seen by over about 100 million people in 150 cities of the world. In less than 20 years, this company has achieved a level of revenues which the global champions, who are the global champions, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Ballet, took more than 100 years to attain, and the growth was achieved in a declining industry. You see, circus is basically a declining industry. People are not going nowadays to watch the circus. So, the growth was achieved in a declining sector. In fact, what they did was, so we have a circus, we have a theatre. So, they combined both these concepts. So, something good was taken from the circus, something good was taken from the theatre. So, they combined and gave an absolutely new product, known as like a new circus. So, they appeal to a whole new group of customers, the adults and the corporate clients, who were prepared to pay a higher price than the traditional circuses. You see, normally the adults are not going to the circuses, they just go sometimes to accompany their young kids, but normally they are not going. The corporate people, they are not going, but in this Cirque du Soleil, they were able to attract even the adults and the corporate clients, and they were paying higher price than the normal circuses. So, the company gave people the fun and thrill of circus and the intellectual sophistication and artistic richness of the theatre, and hence they have redefined the problem itself. So, the company claims we have reinvented the circus. Now, in the blue ocean there is a concept known as the value innovation. This is basically the cornerstone of the blue ocean strategy. If you see this slide on your screens, so we have something known as the value innovation. Okay, we do something innovation by keeping value in mind. So, the value has to go up, but the price has to come down. Normally, when we do the innovations, the price also goes up, but if the price goes up, people may not buy, because people are very cost conscious, especially in a country like India, people are very much price conscious. So, the innovation has to be done keeping in mind the cost should come down, and you should give more value to the buyer. And there is something known as the 4 action framework as a part of this strategy. These 4 actions are: first is eliminate, that means which factors that the industry takes for granted should be eliminated. Number second, reduce, which factors should be reduced well below the industry standards. Then raise, which factors should be raised well above the industry standards, and then create, which factors should be created that the industry has never offered before. So, something has got to be eliminated, something has got to be reduced, something has got to be raised, and something new has got to be created. Now, if we see the same case study, so what did they eliminate? So, they eliminated the star performers. You see, the star performers, they were charging a huge amount of money in the circuses, but not giving much value. So, they were removed, they were eliminated. Animal shows, you see, when you have the animals in the circuses, again it is costing a huge amount of money in maintaining the animals, their medical these things, their transportation, and then there is a lot of hue and cry by the animal lovers. So, animal shows, they were eliminated, they were removed. The oil concession sales. Oil concession means, like when you go to a circus, you will find people just barging in and selling tea or chips, etc. So, it was, everything was removed. So, what did they reduce? The fun and the humor. So, the chief fun in the circus, it was reduced, it was brought down. The thrill and the danger. You see, sometimes if you see the old circuses, it was very people sitting just on the edge of their seats. It was so like thrilling, but it can give a heart attack also. So, it was reduced. What did they raise? A unique venue, a very good venue, a very sophisticated venue with sofa sets and carpets and velvets. It was a very absolutely very fine this thing atmosphere. And what did they create? They created a theme. So, a theme was given to every circus, a very refined environment, and artistic music and dance. So, these are the 4 things which they did, and that is how they became like the new global champions. Now, how can we apply this blue ocean strategy for entrepreneurship development? So, I have created a model, and this is it will come in the succeeding slides, how we can apply this BOS for promoting entrepreneurship amongst our students. If you see our value innovation, you see basically we have to promote, we have to increase the entrepreneurship inputs in our system. The technical vocational system, we have to increase the inputs in the technical and vocational education and training systems to increase the inputs, and that is where the unemployment it comes down, because when people they become entrepreneurs, they not only remove their unemployment, but they employ a lot of other people also. So, the unemployment comes down, and that is our value innovation basically. So, this grid is is made by me, is like my creation. So, what we can create? We can create awareness about setting up and managing a business enterprise. You see, there are many students, many youth who are studying or who have already passed out. Now, they want to become the entrepreneurs, but they have no idea how to become an entrepreneur. So, an awareness has got to be created through a very comprehensive programs on how to set up and manage a business enterprise. Secondly, awareness about the schemes of assistance for the entrepreneurs. There are many agencies in our country who are working at different levels, national level, state level, district level, who are giving a lot of incentives, lot of facilities to the entrepreneurs. So, which are those agencies, what benefits they are giving, which are the different schemes, it all needs to be imparted to the budding entrepreneur. Then awareness about the new entrepreneurial opportunities. Now, we have different types of opportunities coming nowadays. So, there is a need to let these people, let these budding entrepreneurs, these prospective entrepreneurs know that which are the different opportunities, and then they can take benefit of those opportunities depending on their strengths, their weaknesses and their experience basically. Then what we have to create networking with the right type of people and organization. It is very important for the entrepreneurs or for the budding entrepreneurs to have the networking. You see, it's very difficult to go ahead without the networking. You should have the right contacts with the right people and with the right organizations. Then a vision for your proposed business. So, what they want to basically do in future, whether manufacturing or trading or servicing. So, they should have a vision for their business for the future. And then create reading habits. Now, reading is very important, especially for the budding entrepreneurs. They must read, especially the business related books, journals, magazines, is very important. Then what has got to be raised? Number 1, industrial experience and expertise in the chosen line of business. Now, sometimes the students are just fresh pass outs, they have never gone to the industry, they are just academic theory, they know just the theory only basically. So, they must go to the industry, they must spend some time in the industry, they must work in the industry maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years and gain the necessary industry experience, especially in the same line of business which they want to pursue in future. Professional competence, again very important. The students they know something about their area of education, but if you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to have a lot of other information, how to negotiate, what are bargaining skills, all these different how to convince the people, how to manage the people. So, all these different competencies a person must possess in case he wants to become a successful entrepreneur. So, only the bookish knowledge will not do, you have to have a lot of other competence also. And then the qualities of successful entrepreneurs. You see the successful people have a lot of qualities. We talk of risk taking, we talk of a very high need for motivation or goal setting or vision, a lot of things are there. So, they should try to inculcate those qualities which they are not having. Then the ICT skills, because nowadays it is all ICT and people are working sitting in their homes and they are selling a lot of things. We talk of e-commerce, we talk of e-marketing. You can go to any part of the world sitting right in your home only. You can sell through the websites also. So, it's very important for the young generation to be highly computer savvy and they should know all these ICT skills. Then the financial position, because when you want to set up a business, you should have some money with you also. So, sometimes the fresh graduates they do not have the money. So, it is advisable that they can do some job in some industry, say some 3, 4, 5 years, at least they can have some money with them which can act as equity for their business venture. Now, what needs to be reduced? The theory part of learning. Instead of just reading the theory only, the practical part has to be given a lot of importance. The hands on, the application part is very important. Then wastage of time on social media. We have seen that the young people, they are wasting a lot of time on this WhatsApp and Facebooks and all those, they are spending a lot of time. I think they should be they should try to utilize their time very judiciously, and if it is business related, then it is okay. Otherwise, they can cut upon that time, and maybe just half an hour is okay in a day for them. Then dependence on the others, like parents or spouse. So, we have seen that some of the students or the past students, they are heavily dependent on the advice of their parents or the spouse, and they just do what they say. I think that is not a very healthy sign. You should talk to the people. There is no harm in talking to your parents, spouse, listening to them, but you must take independent decisions. Then excursion and the leisure time. I think again we have to cut this unnecessary excursions and unnecessary leisure time and focus more on our work. The last is the eliminate. So, what we have to eliminate? The first is the mindset about doing the job. Now, you see whenever any student joins a degree college or a university, the basic mindset is to go for a job. So, once you get your degrees or post degree this qualifications, they just want to get a job. So, that mindset has got to be changed. They should think of starting their own business as one of the alternative options. Even the mindset of the parents also need to be changed. Second is pressure of the parents or the spouse about preference for the job. The same thing basically, instead of if you have those qualities, some people have those inherent qualities. So, if you have those entrepreneurship qualities, you should focus on becoming an entrepreneur rather than doing a job. Maybe you can do a job for some time initially, but later on you must jump onto this entrepreneurship bandwagon. Then rigidity in your thinking and behavior. So, I think some people are very rigid in their thinking and thought process. In case you want to be an entrepreneur, in case you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, it is very important for you to be a little flexible. And preference for certainty in all situations. Some people they just want everything to be very certain in advance. So, that means they are highly risk averse. In that case, it is very difficult to become an entrepreneur because an entrepreneur has to take risk. So, they take very calculated, moderate, intelligent risk. So, if you want this certainty all the times, that means your mindset is is highly risk averse, which is not a good sign for the entrepreneurship. So, I think that is all. Thank you so much. With this, I conclude this specific video and the entire this module also, as this was the last video in the entire module. So, thank you so much. In case you want to go more into the details, please refer to the e-contents. Thank you.